this is shaping up to be everything that I had hoped that it could be. Hey everybody, welcome back to Experience Points, a less formal, more laid-back sort of video series where I talk about games that I played a bit of but have not yet finished. And today I'm taking an early look at the demo of Trails in the Sky First Chapter, which is obviously the HD, fully polygonal remake of the legendary Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky FC. While I had access to this demo about a day early, I've still only, because of a confluence of events, I've only been able to put about 5 hours into it. My love for the game has kept me playing it at a pretty leisurely pace. I've made it past the first few days, but I've just been like talking to everybody, man. Like, repeatedly. And that leads into some of the great quality of life improvements that I've noticed. So everybody in town that you can talk to will have a little speech bubble, and you can talk to them multiple times, and follow-up times they'll say something a little bit different, after which point the speech bubble goes gray. Objects that you can collect, little spare shining jewels and gems and things out on the field, will show up on your mini-map. No need to equip special quartzes. You'll also see treasure chests and monster locations and quest markers. There are so many quality of life improvements packed into what I've experienced in the first prologue of the game that it takes all of the tedium that I think a lot of people bemoan about the original release and just streamlines it so much, adds really high quality English or Japanese voiceover if you prefer that. I feel like I've got nothing negative to say about this. It's very difficult for me to remain sort of objective and removed from the game and very, clear my nostalgia and gauge it for what it is. But even so, I'm trying my best. The nostalgia is just such a huge rush. It's kicked in full force as I've been playing throughout this game. Can't keep the smile off my face. Like in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see little pictures of Estelle and Joshua, the primary protagonists, the bracers in this game, the heroes who you can think of as, well, in my original review of the full series, I called them basically like hunters from Hunter x Hunter, but nobody knows what that is anymore because that's an anime from 14 years ago. That hurts. But essentially, they are freelance do-gooders of all sorts of varieties. Anything. They'll kill monsters, they'll help, you farm. It's neat. It feels very anime. It feels, especially at the very beginning of this game in particular, feels almost slice of lifey. But oh boy, hold on to your pants, because this game will certainly take you on an emotional roller coaster from which you may never quite fully recover. It's great. Come join us. Join the cult of Kiseki. The demo was released on Steam today, if this video is coming out when I hope it does. And it's the prologue chapter. The prologue is very long, but the individual chapters are even longer. It's a prologue chapter you can play up to a certain point in the game, and then your progress, they say, will actually carry over to the full game, and I love it when games do this. It also encourages you to, if you would like to stop and smell the roses, to go and do that. To go and talk to everybody multiple times, to really just wring everything out of this game that you possibly can, because that's honestly the way that a lot of people do play these games. They build evolving storylines of all of the NPCs within the various towns. It's kind of ridiculous. I haven't even gotten like a third-party member yet. I've been getting my butt kicked over and over because I'm playing on hard mode, not even nightmare mode, but just hard mode. And it is so much fun. Of course, that's partially because I'm also trying to really quickly get through parts of the game and then slow down for other parts. And I'm sure that there are people out there who will say, oh, it's easy, too easy, you can play this game blindfolded with only my sense of smell to guide me, and good for you. But I'm the kind of person who has been struggling on hard mode, and that's fine though. It's a good amount of difficulty, even on hard. I'm sure that the nightmare mode is going to give people what they crave. The people who seek out nightmare mode, that is. Other quality of life improvements, though, include like the streamlining of the orbment system. And by the way, orbments is like a magic system in this game for anybody who hasn't actually played this, because it is a really great starting point. The thing is, the magic system is not just like your standard, oh, I level up, therefore I gained some magic. No, you have to like build your characters as you go by switching out these crystals inside of what looks like a steampunk pocket watch that you can use to cast spells, and the abilities that you have are determined by the quartzes that you have equipped throughout the game. And it used to be kind of opaque where you'd have to jump back and forth between your notebook to figure out what to do. This seems to be using the same system underlying with, you know, picking out your crystals, but it does show you in the corner like what you would need or what abilities you'll gain or lose. Oh man, the other quality of life improvements, you eventually get like fast travel, not just like from point A to point B, like town A and town B, but like different points within the town, which is really nice. You also have the ability to dash. You also have fast forward, so you can dash and fast forward at the same time as you're like going through different dungeons and running away from enemies and taking out enemies, and you can fight them on the world map, and you can gain experience points without even going into like a battle siege. It's just everything that I really hoped that this would be, and it just hits all the same chords. It's been an absolute blast to revisit the little town of Rolent and just re-experience the prologue of Trails in the Sky FC reimagined. It feels like a cross of Trails in the Sky FC meets Dragon Quest XI meets Trails into Daybreak, especially even on the combat side of things. It feels very much like Trails into Daybreak, but with more Trails in the Sky FC mixed into things. My brain is having a very difficult time comprehending what I've just experienced here because it's been a lot of fun. Like, I can recognize all of these little shops, all of these little roads sprawling out from Rolent. This is shaping up to be everything that I had hoped that it could be. I'm sure that there's some purists out there who will still insist that you must start with the original, but I do not agree. This is going to be the perfect entry point, I think, for fans of RPGs in general. Here's the thing though, it still definitely has the same pacing as the original Trails in the Sky FC, but now it feels much more, I don't want to say cinematic. There's a lot of scripted cutscenes and stuff, a lot of talking, a lot of voice acting, and I think that really does a lot of the heavy lifting. Trails in the Sky FC is pretty notoriously wordy earlier on in the game and kind of a slower pace, and I think that just bumps heads with a lot of people who are just like, come on, get to the point. Although this game also features very fast turn-based combat as well as action combat, which is why the Daybreak similarities come into play. You'll have to excuse me because my brain is just all over the place right now. It is absolutely a buzz. The music, there's options to switch between the original music, which sounds really good, or the new soundtrack, the one that feels a little more updated. I don't know if it's orchestral, it probably isn't. Falcom isn't exactly, Square Enix, so I wouldn't expect that from them at this time. At the rate we're going, maybe at some point. That said, I've been playing this on Steam. As you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous, just drop dead gorgeous. I'm playing it on ultra settings on my RTX 4060 Ti. I don't think that that's like a top of the line card or anything by any stretch, but it's still running really smooth on PC here. It's obviously not meant to be like a huge demanding title. It's no Expedition 33 or Cyberpunk 2077 by any stretch. Like, you don't need a top of the line 4080, 5080, 5090. They go all the way up to 90 now. It's not one of those kinds of games, so like a middle tier graphics card that's relatively recent ought to give you some really beautiful frame rates. This game originally released back in like 2010 or something for the PSP, and then it came to PC and kind of hit a underground kind of cult following. Huge emphasis on the cult, by the way. There is a very good reason people tend to get a little foamy at the mouth when they talk about the Trails series, okay? Myself included sometimes. I'm a big fan. What is different about this game that does that to people is that it respects the player's intelligence to listen and recall. At no point does it say, oh, don't worry about that, and hand wave away some logic or whatever. It's just like, yes, here's the system, here's the world, here's how it works, and here's their set of rules. There's a large learning curve to this game. It holds your hand, gradually introduces you to these things step by step. It can be a lot to take in all at once, but do realize that when you play this game, it's going to expect a lot from you. Not necessarily going to punish you unless you go with hard mode or nightmare mode, but it is going to tell you things and expect you to remember them, but it will tell you what they are in a very intuitive way, and it gradually builds up the lore of this series that just expands into the Avengers of RPGs. That's just kind of like broad strokes about the series as a whole, but this is an entry point for the series. 100%. I got an early access to the demo, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can go play the demo for yourself now, but holy moly, I just gotta say though, when the game does come out physically on the PlayStation 5 and Switch 2, I really hope that the game is included on the cartridge. That's gonna be a killer for the Switch 2 if not. So personally speaking, I think I'll probably either play on PC or PS5, I'm not sure which. Maybe I'll stick to PC this time though, because it does have that prologue chapter that can be carried over, so, you know, if you play games a little bit more slowly, then you could start playing the demo now and just kind of coast until it's time to unlock the game upon release. That is going to be on September 19th, so about a month away. I don't think that the prologue's going to keep you occupied for the whole month, but it should be enough time for you to get in there, give it a whirl, see how it feels, determine for yourself if you are into the story that it tells, into the characters that it's trying to develop and build for you. If you are already a fan of the series though, you already know you're gonna go play it. You're gonna go play it right now. What are you doing? Go play. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to help me out on my path to full-time YouTubing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.